Alright, I am writing a paper on gender diversity for my ROTC class. Just going to start by getting a general search. Military. Wow, a lot of results. I'm just going to go with the first one because I usually always check out the first one. Pull it up there. Scroll down, check how long it is. Alright, not too long. I'm going to read this. Skim through. Looks like a very personal essay. Someone who works with male and female veterans. Ooh, that's a good fact right there. That just pops out at me. I'm just going to copy that over to a Word document for now. Come back to that later. That might be a good hook of a paper if I was going to try and defend women in the military. I'm going to copy that over too because I like that the fact that the VA is trying to help females join the military. Very admirable of them. Increase awareness. I don't really want to talk about awareness, I just want to talk about women in the military. Kind of rather have some more statistics. Ooh, family separation. I guess that could be a problem with women in the military. I'm going to read a little bit more. Mother of 15-year-olds deploy. I think that could be a problem with females deploying, is that kids are usually more attached to their mothers. I'm just going to kind of make a bullet of that because I think that'd be something good to come back to. Ooh, she wrote a book. Might be good to read that book. Right by that note, I'm gonna write down the name of the book. Maybe go check that out. And then this girl sounds like she's just talking about the book, so I'm gonna skip through all of that. My question to you, what are your thoughts? Kind of like that idea. I think that was a good idea of hers to ask what our thoughts are. Maybe make a note of that would be something cool I can add at the end of my paper. And while I'm typing almost her exact question, I should probably go ahead and see how to cite this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy the hyperlink URL because worst comes to worst, at least I'll have that. And then probably go to EasyBib, but as much as I would love to get that done, I'll probably do that later. So just have that hyperlink in my Google document. This is probably going to be my golden Google Doc because I usually have one of those for every paper that I just always go back to for facts. And then at the very last few days before I have to turn my paper in, it becomes very important because basically I have to take everything that's on there and write my paper. Scrolling through some more sources, I see PBS. I don't really know what that stands for, but I think I remember it being pretty scholarly, reputable. So I'm gonna look at that. U.S. military leadership lacks diversity. My question would be, why does the leadership lack diversity? Is it not the whole institution? So maybe females aren't making it as high in males as far as rank goes? I don't know, I'm gonna read. So this one looks like it's about all diversity, not just gender. So I'm gonna keep scrolling and see where it talks about females, because right now it's talking about Hispanics. And I don't need that. Keep scrolling. I kind of like this because since it talks about so many different kinds of diversities, gender is a very small part of it, and I have to read less, which is always a plus. Gender diversity, blah blah blah. Ooh, that's a good statistic. 51%. But only 16% of uniformed officers. I'm gonna copy that over. So they're 50% of all, but only 16% of uniform. That is super unproportionate. Need to figure out more about that. Oh my gosh, so for all of the generals and admirals, it's in the single digits as far as how many are females. I'm not going to copy that whole thing over because it's way too specific, but I'm going to make a note of that. All of the generals. I just like writing with a lot of statistics because I feel like they're easy to pop into your paper, and then you can just talk about them for almost the entire next paragraph, whatever you're writing. That's usually how I do it. Start a paragraph off with a statistic and just shoot from there. Ooh, now we're getting to reasons for shortage of women. This could be good. I'm gonna have to read this really hard and then paraphrase because they sound like they're getting pretty wordy. Exclusion of women in combat arms. Yes, that's been a problem in the news lately. I'm gonna make a special note to come back to that. Okay, I'm just going to copy this whole thing over because that is beautifully written, and I'm going to paraphrase that later because it's really long. But basically, it will be a good way to counter-argue the argument that having women in the service has bad influence on unit cohesion, stuff like morale. So that'll be a good counter-argument because obviously, as a female, I'm going to be arguing for women in the military. Women are less likely to remain in service. I'm just going to skip right over that because that doesn't help my case at all. Less likely to see it as a career. I'm not going to take note of that either because that's arguing against myself. Alright, so now I think they're trying to argue against me, so I'm just going to get out of there. Actually, first I'm going to do another glorious hyperlink copy. Go put that in my bibliography later. I'm going to go back, look for a good source. I think this time I'm just going to read the headings super strictly because I want to see the word women, because that's what I'm worried about, not minorities or anything. Challenge and change, gender. A few good women. I like how it says good women because I'm arguing for women. Always look for some good key adjectives. The woman on the front's holding a baby. This looks like it's going to be good. Picture pictures are usually a very good judge for me. Oh wow. The Department of Defense lifted the ban on women serving in combat fields on January 24th, 2013. That's embarrassing. I didn't even know that, but I'm going to make note of that and put that on my paper. I already have a fact that was similar to that, so I'm going to pop that in right there. That'll probably be a paragraph for me. Put it in quotation marks to remember that I copied it. It's usually always smart. Combat exclusion is a form of institutional bias. I don't know what that means. I'm going to skip that. Just looking for really simple things to pop in this paper, because I feel like if things are very simple and you make it easy on yourself, then your paper is easier to write. If you get too many wordy paragraphs and things, then you find yourself trying to write a paper that's way above your head, and that's never good. Okay, so this is what the DoD said when it declared that law, that women are no longer excluded. Wait, I guess I skipped over some stuff. Oh, this is what happened in 1994, which was when they were still excluded. Okay, so I'm going to copy this above what I had earlier, so I know what's chronological, and I'm going to make note that this was in 1994. And I'm not giving too much background information on it because since this is the old law, I probably won't really write much about it. But I'm going to want to give my audience in my paper a little bit of background about what law was lifted that I'm so happy about. So add that over there. Try to read that paragraph. It's very ambiguous and a little confusing, so I'm going to skip over and see if there's any more information I can gather out of here that's short, sweet, and simple. Alright, well, I think I got one or two good facts out of this one. We are done. Alrighty.